Why hello there, my fellow entity slayers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Anomaly Eldritch Guards. Episode 95, Lurks in Darkness. Who's heat stroked? Oh, gross. It's hot in this, because the heat is bleeding through. It's not so hot that he's going to get hurt, but... there we go. So before we activate the final structure, definitely going to be worth making sure to reset everything, put the fires out, haul everything away. Perhaps even work on mood if that is still a problem. Oh, 2 hits. Man, you're slipping. And then C-Pan is going to need a lot more psi focus time to be able to illuminate the northern half. Because the northern half is dark. What is illuminating here? Oh, did the roof? No, it's not a roof. Oh, it was just fire or something. Trying to figure out why it was, like, lit for no reason. So we can reset the southern path first. Because it's already illuminated. I can't believe this Twisted Obelisk still hasn't been neutralized. It's crazy. Taking so long. So we're going to need a lot of psi focus to get out here. There is a pathway here, but we'll need to illuminate 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 maybe solar pinholes. It's also, I'm going to ask you guys, should I try to illuminate the path without solar pinhole? I'm going to pull on that. So you guys see what you think. Either doing wood torches or disruptor pack flares. I have a lot of flares, flare packs being unused, so I could have 3 of my pawns don flare packs and flare pack the path up, if that at all interests you. It's up to you. The wording is a little confusing. Should I not rely? It's like a double negative. Sorry about that. Typing these up on the fly, I can definitely end up with confusing options at times. Now, another way to reset your mazes, if you don't want to use solar pinholes to illuminate, is the darkness will not attack your mechs. So if I had a bunch of constructoids, the constructoids could repave the pathways in the dark, no problem. The darkness only attacks living entities, not mechanical ones. If you want me to prove that, we can have... oops. We can have Kish go stand in the dark. So I'll put Kish in the chimney, which is pitch black. Just to prove that, yeah, it's not a problem. See, doesn't matter. So that's another way to do it. If you're struggling to be able to reset traps or even rebuilt kill boxes or whatever it might be, you can use constructoid robots or just any robot power to be able to do it. Yo, that does not look like meditation, Sea Panda. That looks like you're tinkering with the piano, but not even playing it right. The other thing that you could do is you only really get attacked by the void shadow monsters. Like if you spend a prolonged period of time in darkness, like you have to spend, I don't know, let's say 10 seconds or so. So that you could build lights and things. You can definitely spend a brief period of time in the dark and not immediately be ganked. Oh, come on, Noctil. This Noctil's toying with me. Whatever. Poor Kish gets shoved in the dark closet. I mean, he doesn't have feelings. He's a robot. Alright, I probably have enough psi focus to reset the northern maze. And then I'll have to go meditating again. So I'm now setting up the southern maze to be the valid path into the base. And that way we can fix up the northern one. Except for I did it wrong. This door never closed. There we go. Alright, portal results are in. You guys don't care how I get to the last structure. Copy that. Aww. Wait, that was weird. Okay. So, the obelisk mutated a grizzly bear that was up here and turned it into a tri-spike. Alright. It's fine by me. Whatever. Nice, great. Very useful inspiration for my brawler to have a shoot frenzy. That obelisk has some range? Yeah, that was a hell of a lot of range. Makes me fear the obelisks even more, if anything. It's crazy how many shards you get off of this final event too. I haven't even collected all the shards because obviously there are shards everywhere around the map for where the metal horse died, and I'm sitting on quite the tidy sum of shards. Playoff fire count is still doing just fine, even though I don't have any entities. The amount of twisted meat I have is kind of disgusting. And we're just sort of waiting on Sea Panda, who... Alright, Sea Panda, if you're not going to listen to me, I'm going to force you into the mountain base. Sea Panda is supposed to be... I mean, right now, he's scheduled to sleep, or she, rather, is scheduled to sleep. So it's understandable that she's not meditating. But I have Sea Panda basically on a pure meditation schedule, and I keep finding Sea Panda doing other things. So the maze is almost all reset. and then all that's left to do is to effect some light repairs. What was the rooms on the left? These rooms here was just because I needed sandstone to be able to build extra walling. Double walling everything. So it's not that I was using the rooms for anything. I was just excavating sandstone. Oh, Featherfall. Okay, yeah, I see. The lights in this corridor, the solar pinhole lights ran out. There we go. So there's a little bit of darkness in here, but it's not a, we'd have to stand there for a long time. Passing through it should be fine. Alright, Sea Panda, how's it looking? Still waiting on more Psi Focus. In terms of injuries, yeah, everyone's kind of fine. I mean, some scratches from shadowy figures when we were in the dark, but nothing too serious. I have enough idle colonists that I might as well just research for the sake of people doing things they're passionate about, because that keeps their mood up. And I think it might be wise for me to trigger another Pleasure Pulse, because our Pleasure Pulse benefits have run up. And nothing's more hilarious than using the Void, exploiting the Void entity's boons to be able to destroy itself. There is a lot of traffic around here. Alright, Pleasure Pulse is complete. Moods will be up a little bit higher. The Pleasure Pulse might actually be the result of, or the Drea's baby might be the result of the Pleasure Pulse. So Drea, your baby, where are you? You were a Neanderthal and Double Eyes is a Neanderthal, so you just had a Neanderthal baby. Got it. Alright, Sea Panda. You are going to meditate, whether you want to or not. Kind of waiting on Sea Panda. Daedora's confusion is getting more frequent, I would say. I might just stick Daedora in a Biosculpt pod. Do I already have one biotuned? I should check first. Yep, biotuned to Daedora. Okay. I might stick Daedora in a Biosculpt pod just for Daedora's own safety. Because I'm worried about the constant dementia breaks being a risk. Decided to turn on the other ammo heater and bring the ambient temperature up to like farmable temp. So I wouldn't mind making sure that I have ample amounts of maybe in this case just potatoes available to me. I'd plant corn, but corn takes so long to grow. And rice, of course, prefers fertile soil. So we'll just plant a whole bunch of potatoes. All right. Daedora, I can't even put into the pod because of all the current dementia. Remember the unnatural darkness? Yeah, we'll need grow lights. That's true. Alternatively, I could do Nutrifungus, but Nutrifungus would need darkness. I'll do sun lamps then. If provided, assuming I have the leftover power, and it looks like I do. That looks so funny. Alright, Sea Panda, how's it going? Your soft focus is almost maxed. Good. So I'll say in the morning, because right now it's 9 p.m. and they're technically still on a diurnal schedule. In the morning, I will send them out to activate the final void structure. Oh my god. What the hell? You two really hate one another. So Fraggles compared Scotia to a devil. What was the last social? You just finished a social fight. Fraggles suddenly scorned Scotia's diet, and they began to fight. So yeah, they've been... That's the second social fight that they had in, like, the last 5 minutes. Like, yo, you two need to chill. Alright, Daedora into the pod. So, the Bioregen cycle does not heal dementia. So, instead, I'm going to do a age reversal. Because Daedora had age-related dementia. Well, actually, the dementia was a result of resurrection serum sickness, but still. Being younger will help to stave off age-related diseases. Yeah, Alright, I've never seen fighting back to back to back quite like that. That was the third one. What? Negative 100. Insulted times 6, negative 54. Anchoring in fight, negative 62. Slighted, negative 8. Harmed me, negative 15. We, yeah. Those two do not get along. 3 social fight. No, oh my god. Fraggles, don't even heal her. Fraggles, just... You rest in this bed. Don't rest next to Scotia. You two cannot be near one another. This is so funny. All right, everybody but Fraggles and Scotia. Come over here, except for Red. Red is going to be our... Actually, you know what? Tequila Jane, you are going to be the fire starter this time. Time for words of love. More like words of stop or I stab you. Like, for real. That's 3 social fights in a row. Within a day? Maybe? And yeah, words of love wouldn't fix it. They're too far gone for words of love to be effective at that point. Alright, we do have a bunch of Gorehulks coming our way. Taking up slightly defensive positioning. Sorry, Fox. You definitely just got foxed. Oh, TJ got ganked by a Noctil. I'll have TJ heal herself. She should be alright. Didn't notice that. Do some bounding Overwatch as we approach. Alright, that should be access enough. Final countdown. So there's some Noctils coming from behind, threatening to cut us off. But 2 Noctils ain't much to be scared of. I might want to send some just to kill them off so they don't run into us as we flee to the base during the last attack. Okay, so our retreat path is now covered. There should be time for TJ to heal that last torso bruise. Your Hussars don't even fight that much? Wasters tend to fight about that much, though. Because Wasters are aggressive and ugly. And both aggressiveness and ugliness causes fights. So aggressiveness increases social fight chance factor 200%. Super aggressive, obviously, is a bit different. But the unattractiveness is a big social fight. It causes more social fights because it starts your relationship off with others that are ugly lower. And the lower your initial relationship is, the more likely it is to result in social fighting. The way social fighting, or actually the way all interactions work, and I'm gonna, just because I'm really close to like finishing this up, but there's a lot more time in the stream, I'm gonna deep dive a little bit into the game mechanics here. So let me save just so that I don't mess anything up. So there's a huge factor that is hidden to the player to determine relationship information. So let's analyze Scotia and Fraggles because they hate one another. So a big factor is the compatibility, and that determines, that heavily influences your interactions with said pawn. So looking at Scotia and Fraggles, their compatibility factor here is negative 2.26, which means that they're very incompatible with one another. So on average, most of their interactions with one another are going to be slights and insults. And these numbers are actually determined, interestingly enough, by pawn ID. So every pawn, which is to say, like, every animal, all the entities, all the pawns, everything has like an ID number, making it unique. And the pawn IDs, each pawn is given a pawn ID, and then there is a random compatibility factor that forms between pawns, depending on the pawn IDs. So if I went into the game, into the save file, if I wanted, let's say, I'll just propose a situation. Let's say that you really wanted Scotia and Fraggles to actually get along. What you could do is create a new pawn So because I just saved, I'll actually show you. So if I spawned a new pawn, and obviously all of this will be reverted, and I take a look at this new pawn, and I go near like Fraggle so they have some sort of relationship or whatever, and I find that this new pawn has a really good disposition towards Fraggles, I could then go into the save file, figure out this pawn ID, which is going to be like a pawn ID 6-digit, 7-digit number, something like that, and delete this pawn and swap it with Scotia, so that Scotia inherits a new pawn ID, but you're going to have to do a find and replace, because all of the things that mention Scotia is going to need to change that pawn ID, and then that would fundamentally change how the compatibility factor between two pawns. So if you want to do like matchmaking on a code level, what I'm saying is it's possible. So the other thing is, if we take a look at the relationship factors between like Devil Eyes and Drea. So Devil Eyes and Drea are married. They have a compatibility factor of 3.27. So that's actually quite high. Generally speaking, I would say anywhere between -1 and +1 is like relatively neutral. -2 to +2 is like strong preference, one way or another. And then anything beyond the -3 to +3 is very strong preference. So if you find someone with a compatibility factor of like plus or minus -3, that's going to very heavily influence their kind of relationships to one another. So another relationship we have is Mikas and Sea Panda. And actually, surprisingly enough, Mikas and Sea Panda here have a compatibility factor of -1.24, meaning that some of their interactions initially was probably slights and insults, but you can overcome slights and insults by building up positive relationships, having deep talks, or healing one another, etc., etc. But if you also look at their relationship, it's only +30 and +39. Their relationship is not very strong, whereas Drea and Devil Eyes have a 71-71. And then Ink is in another relationship with Tequila Jane, and he has a compatibility factor of 1.27, but a romance chance factor of only 0.2. So the romance chance factor is probably most heavily influenced, I'd have to double check the code, but probably most heavily influenced by age difference. So generally speaking, pawns will form relationships with romantic relationships with those that are of the sex and gender that they're interested in, and that they're closest in the age to. So that you don't tend to get a lot of 18 and 90-year-old relationships. In fact, if we take a look at who's our oldest? Maybe Mikas? Yeah, Mikas is the oldest. If we take a look at Mikas is going to have a really low relationship chance factor with most other people. So relationship chance factor for who's the youngest female? Red? Yeah, so let's check Mikas and Red. So romance chance factor between Mikas and Red is only 0.2, because Mikas is 63 and Red is 22 or something. And then there's also the personality traits play a big role too. So if they're both nudists or they're both transhumanists, or, if they share stuff together, that increases the relationship chance. But all right, that's enough details. Let's get back to it. I just wanted to point out how hilarious it was that these two were completely murdering one another, but it's because they hate one another and they have really bad compatibility factors. Let's get back to base. And TJ, you've patched yourself? Yes. Entity attack. What is attacking us? Well, that's a lot of Noctals. That was weird. I double-clicked the Noctals and it... Okay, 79 Noctals. The game's chunking a little bit when I had pause, so I think there's more attackers. There's probably swarms of sight stealers, and I just don't know where they are because they're invisible. One of the nice things about fire traps is that the noctils are weakened by light, and fire is light. So not only do the noctils catch fire, but they get light exposure weakness from the simple fact that they're exposed. Proximity detectors detecting visibility, so it's sight stealers passing by this spot here. I think for this specific fight, I am going to leave the mechs out of it. And also to answer chat's question, I have an idea of what I want to do once these fights are over. I'll give you a hint. It's related to the goal of this series. All right, swarm in. Yep, they are busting some holes. Probably due to the fact that pathing is spotty at best. Just because there's so much stuff in the way. So I'm going to have C-Panda try to do some patchwork. Maybe I'll send Red up here as well. Although I think this wall is going to get popped before anyone can fix it. Yep. So I just made the Noctil Berserk, and I'm gonna get myself out of here. So the act of berserking them gives the enemies that were having pathing problems a valid target, which is now this Noctil, which then has them stop attacking the walls, allowing my walls to not be the active targets of these enemies, because they're chewing up the walls over here too. Alright, I don't think you guys lost too much time wise, so yeah, we're picking up with just defending against the Noctil Rush. There are sight stealers that are trying to breach though. Wow, that uranium auto door is doing way worse than I thought it would be. I need to probably dispatch a kill team to go deal with some of the Noctil breaches. Because as you can see, they're coming through the walls kind of everywhere. Lakiwa, thank you for resub. So yeah, this door is going to go pop. I'm not going to be able to get there in time. Let's see. I'm going to replace this door. So I'm out of plasteel entirely. That's news to me. I have not been paying attention to that, clearly. C-Panda. I'm going to have you build just a basic uranium door in its stead. And I'm trying to patch up our breached walls and defenses. So what's happening here is there's so many enemies, and it's probably, if I was to guess, some of the pathing problems with the Sight Stealers, but there's so many enemies that it's clogging up the valid path into the base, and as a result, the entities are seeking alternative paths, which include busting holes into our walls. Okay, the main swarm, C-Pan is taking too long and the main swarm is coming here. So I'm going to back out of this spot here, because I don't think it's reasonable to try to hold that anymore. I'm just going to let them come in. Okay, the monolith's shape has begun to distort, shifting with growing intensity. Something is about to happen. And it is dumping out metal horrors, surging them as a swarm. The monolith has fully awakened. A swirling dark vortex sits atop its peak, forming a conduit to the void. Go to the monolith and use it to pass through to the other side. Doing so will end the unnatural darkness and end the horror assault. Alright, so C-Panda is bringing in materials to be able to repair that door. But we need to fight a whole lot of people before we even get to that point. And unfortunately, I don't have any, like, wall raise, which makes this a little bit harder to do. So I'm going to have Ink try to hold the outside here so that C-Panda can bring the materials in and build that door. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Anomaly Eldritch Guards, which originally streamed live on Twitch August 11th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming stream. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow guardsmen.